What's good, everyone? Matt here with another NMB48 vlog. Today's vlog will be a little different. It's not going to be like a event report or concert report style vlog. Instead, it's more of like a kind of news topic, op-ed style vlog, talking about some big news that happened here in the world of NMB48. So if you're already subscribed to the channel, you already watch my videos, you probably know what's going on with NMB, but if for some reason you found this video, you found me, and you don't know what's going on, I'll give you a little recap. So, a few weeks ago, back on, was it June 26th, the current NMB captain, Karin Kojima, aka Kojirin, she announced her graduation.
まずは、私、小島かりんは NMB48 を卒業します。
This was like a bombshell announcement because, you know, she's like the most popular member of NMB, you know, bestseller, very, very famous, very popular, at least in the current NMB right now. And we thought maybe she'd stick around for at least another year or so, but she decided no, now's the time. And so just to give you a little more information about her. So she joined as a 5th generation member back in like mid-2016. So yeah, now she's been in the group for about 9 years, which is quite long for a member. And yeah, she's been like leading the group for the past 7 years. So yeah, she's done a good job, you know, in the new generation, the new chapter of NMB, and she's going to be leaving later in November of this year. She was appointed as captain in 2018 by the previous captain, Sayaka Yamamoto, when she graduated. So this is a big step for NMB. So now the big question everyone's asking and wondering now is, who's going to be the next captain once Kojirin leaves? I'm going to go over a bunch of like possible picks and rule out some obvious ones and kind of say my reasoning. And for this, I'll be trying to be as objective as possible, so I'm not going to be picking like any favorite members or like, you know, dunking on members I don't really like. I'm going to basically try and do what I think would be like the most logical objective choice for who would be captain for NMB. So we have a lot of members, you know, possible candidates. And I'll go over some of those. So first I'm going to go over some, like, you know, ones people thought maybe a few years ago these would have been the obvious picks, but then with a reason that, you know, as time passed, maybe has not been the case for those members. So I think one of the obvious picks people thought early on might be Hirayama Mighty, who, you know, she joined as a 7th gen member back in 2020. And now, I think maybe it feels like a year or two ago, she might have been a good choice. But, you know, now she's kind of up there in age. She's 22 now and has been in the group for 5 years, which is kind of like the kind of soft cap. I'm not sure soft cap, but that's the way. But most members kind of leave around 3 to 5 years into the group, it seems like. So I don't think she's going to be around for a whole lot longer. So that's probably why I don't think she would be captain, just because of the age or just time in the group. Another obvious choice people thought, but also is probably not going to happen now, is Kaito Shiosuke, who joined before Mighty back in 2018 as a Draft 3 member. And yeah, so she's been in the group now for 8 years, roughly 7-8 years now. Yeah, so yes, 7 years. Especially because she was really young. She's been kind of groomed to be captain. She had a lot of leadership positions, like with Kunmart during the non-battle 1. She's also like non-variety vice captain, which she had, if you remember that little fact. But she's young though. She's 19 right now. But you know, she's now been in the group for basically like almost half of her age, half of her life has been in NMB. So 7 years is a pretty long time being in a group. So I wouldn't be surprised if she will be sticking around for much longer. She might be around for another couple years or so. But yeah, she's getting kind of up there in like tenure in the group. So that's kind of like the two main factors. Like when I'm like you know, disqualifying members is basically age and time in the group. Another possible candidate, but I think it's also be unlikely as well, is Ayano Izumi, aka Anon. She's been around. She joined at the same time as Kaito, and is a year older. Yeah, she's 20 right now, and you know, again, she's also been in some leadership positions. She's like captain of the Tenchi Utopia stage, which, you know, being a captain of a stage doesn't really count. It's not a real position. Whereas, you know, Mighty, she's the current team in captain. That's why I think she's like would have been a good, you know, possible candidate. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know, she's been in the group for 7 years, and also, you know, she's only started now. Well, not really, I shouldn't say started, only recently, but like 2-3 years ago, you know, she started getting her like push, started showing up in Sabatsu, you know, with non-battle 2. But now it seems like she is kind of a lock for the time being. But also, she could also be quitting anytime soon as well too. So the reason why I'm not going over these members who are like not too old or have been in the group for too long. Why I think those are like not going to be likely options is because I think NMB, especially with a captain, like group captain, they value stability, and it's at least for NMB of like the last like like the first 7 years or so, like they value stability, like people who are going to be around for a long time. And it's something I've noticed, especially like with the new generation, basically like your 5th gen and under. So yes, the current members now, they all kind of leave pretty quickly. They only kind of stick around for about 3 or 5 years. Whereas, like, your old gen, your old guard back in the day, they were around for, 6, 7, 8, 10 years or so. You have Chihi, who's been in the group for 12 years now, and so she's leaving later this year as well. Yeah, I think it's like the new generation, like, answered are weaker, or just maybe the current idle landscape. NMB obviously is not as popular as they once were, so there's not really much reason to stick around. Whereas back in the heyday of NMB, members stuck around a long time because they were still popular, still relevant. So maybe that's why the new generation members are kind of like, burning out so quickly, and also it's much harder for them to stick around. So there's that, and I think this is why I think the captain has to be someone from probably 7th gen, not 7th gen, 8th gen, 9th gen, or 10th gen. More likely 9th gen, just because it seems like they have the balance of both exposure as well as experience, and they're also, most of them, a lot of them aren't too old, also haven't been in the group for too long. But there are some options for 8th gen members that could get it, could be in here as well. But I think there's a bit, they're right on the border, so like in terms of like age and time in the group, they would be okay candidates, but they probably may not, out of the possible pool of 8th generation members, not a whole lot of choices for there. And so yeah, I think it's probably gonna be 9th gen or 10th generation member to pick a member. Just because like when Sayaka left, like they didn't pick like another 1st generation member or like a 2nd or 3rd generation member, because all those members pretty much left like 2-3 years afterwards. And so that's the thing, you don't want to have like be changing captains like every couple of years. That's they value stability here in NMB. So assuming management is smart, Kojirin, I'm not sure how much say Kojirin has, but assuming everyone's like smart and wants like NMB to succeed, they're gonna pick someone who's gonna stick around for hopefully at least 5 years, or even 6-7 years. Be here as long as Kojirin has been here. And actually, if you look at the current roster now, so like after Kojirin leaves, there's only going to be one 5th generation member left with Shuri, who's definitely not going to be it because he's too old and also not that popular, and also not really a captain or a leader. 6th generation is basically gone. It's just Shishin, who's also too old. D3 is more of where your more senior members are going to be like sticking around, which when Kojirin took over, that's when you had like your Akari's, your Nagisas, the Miru's kind of sticking around, kind of like helping Kojirin steer the ship, like making sure she's not completely off. So I think whoever takes over will be in good hands, like with a support network of like good senior members. But this captain, I think, has to be a younger member though. So going now through more options of possible members, and now these are members I think are more likely, but also I think they're not going to get picked as well. So probably up on there in the choice, top of the list there is Mako Makochi, who is now currently Team B2 captain. She's also captain of the Saraba Junjo stage, which again, stages aren't real teams, so it doesn't really matter. And she's been she's probably the most leader of the 8th generation members. And she's not too old. She's only 19? Yeah, 19. Yeah, 19, almost 20. Been in the group for 3 years, so not too old. She could be candid. Only problem with Mako is she tends to get injured really easily. Kind of pushes herself too hard, gets injured, and is out for weeks at a time. So you want someone who's always going to be kind of still around regularly. But maybe because now she's taking on more of these leadership positions, she's probably not going too hard, going too sweaty with all the sport stuff, and so is not injuring herself too much. So it is a possibility. But again, burnout is definitely a thing here with the current generation of NMB, so she may not be around a whole lot longer. And then going along with Mako, there's also her other counterpart, Misaki Sakata, Also 8th generation member, joined same time as Mako. I think maybe she could have been a potential captain candidate. And they've been pushing her really hard, even make her like center of the Seishun Lap Time 2023. Which typically, like, okay, center of Seishun Lap Time is usually like, the captain or like, your ace kind of person. But Sakatan, she seems like she has like some a lot of like, weak mental fortitude, and like she even like couldn't handle all the pressure and such. As she went on a hiatus, late last year from like it was October, November, and it came back earlier this year, like back in February. And just couldn't handle the stress, and so she came back. Apparently, according to fans, she has done like a whole 180 with like her personality and attitude. Now she's a lot more outgoing and talkative. But I mean, I haven't really seen it myself personally, but apparently, yeah, she's gotten better. So she could be a possibility. But again, I think she may not have the mental fortitude to take up being captain. And then going along with that, probably our other 8th generation candidate, but is also I think less likely now, is Yukino, Tanaka Yukino. She is younger than the other two. She's 17, 18, almost 18, and she also took a break same time as Sakatan last year, also due to like some mental stress and stuff like that. Not getting picked Sabatsu, wasn't too happy. She's come back and she's seen better, but also now she's having some other issues now of more physical health problems with her thyroid. And so actually she is now on like a weird like kind of semi hiatus break. Like she's not doing like performances or even many of like the events now, but she still is doing like social media and like TikTok and Twitter like that. So she's still active, but yeah, I think because of her health issues, she may not. I mean, she might get better, but who knows? Like NMB have had a history of a lot of members who like had health issues. Like Horishion, Kohatan, a few other members have had issues in the past, and then they couldn't really overcome those health complications, and they'd have had to like either stand back for a long time and eventually graduate. So Yukino may not be with us much longer. I mean, I don't think she's gonna die, but I think she's may not be with the group because she just due to her doctor recommendations and the busy, rigorous schedule of NMB. Whereas if she was healthy and fine, she could have been like a really good like possible candidate for NMB. But I think with the health issues, it's not likely, I'd say. So yeah, and there's also let's say we got Sakura, or say Matsuoka Sakura right here. Yeah, Sakura. Also has been kind of one of the more mature 8th gen members, but also she's now pretty old now. She's 22 years old, and also she tends to have like a bit of a bad attitude, kind of criticizes management too much, complains about not being Sabatsu. Again, a little bit support from fans, but still, I don't think she'll be captain either. Yeah, just mostly the age is the main thing there. All right. And then, yeah, I think I'll go down to our more likely picks, which is ones I think that are mostly 9th gens, basically, where I think the most likely picks are. And I think the top of the list for that will actually be Waka Albara, who, she's 9th generation member, so joined at the end of 2022, whereas 8th generation joined at the beginning of 2022. But for 6, yeah, they're basically a whole year under 8th gen, so I say they're more fresher, less burned out, less cynical, I guess. And so Wakatan, she was captain of the 9th generation stage, where I think that actually is a more real leadership position than like a normal other stage captain position. And she also has been always kind of like the leader and like the big sister, like babysitter of the 9th generation. So definitely she has a lot of leadership potential. She also really loves NMB. She's a big NMB fan. It's kind of reason why she tried to get into NMB for such a long time. I think she tried auditioning even as back as like the 6th generation member and like failed all those auditions. Finally got in with in the 9th generation back in late 2022. And yeah, she's a huge hardcore NMB fan. So just like how Kojirin was a big NMB fan, it was kind of pushed her to join NMB. Wakatan also. I think the only thing going against Wakatan is her age. So she is a little older, a little too old for preference. She's 21 right now. Probably ideally you want someone to be like 18 and 20 to be a captain. But again, she loves NMB as much, so she could stick around for a good like 8 years or so. And could be a good captain for NMB. So I think definitely she's like maybe the top choice for most obvious choice for being captain in NMB. And then another option I thought of is more of a dark horse candidate, and that would be Honoka Nishida, who is also 9th generation member. She's also a little younger though. She's 19, yeah. 20, yeah, she's 20. She's a very hard worker. She, does literally every single theater show, well, except for Tenshitopia, but, does all the other shows, like subs in all the time, and super cool, hardcore worker. Last year she was the #1 Theater Megami, also most performances in a year, and she's already on track for doing that again this year, because like she shows up in literally so many shows. So she's a good hard worker, so I think, yeah, and learns all the dances pretty well, can help everyone. Even the seniors look up to her for support as well too. Her main issue though is she is very unpopular. She like doesn't sell very well. Has even like turned that into like a whole like gimmick, and does like viral videos on TikTok and to make fun of her being unpopular. And then that's kind of like my dark horse for that. Another possible I think is maybe a bit less likely. Well, a good possible choice would be actually in the 10th generation, which is the newest generation. They joined last year, about a year ago, and that's with Kyoka Takeda. So she's also the youngest member in the group, which is probably unlikely. She's too young, so she can't stay late for meetings and stuff. She's only 12 years old, but I think they're kind of treating her. I think she's like the Kato 2.0 like region member. Like they kind of want to push her eventually. I won't be surprised if she shows up in Tsubasa like soon. They put her in she's the center of the Tenshin song, Kazekurama. That's a song. She has like the whole monologue starting part with that. But yeah, she's too young, but I think she's very mature for her age, which sounds kind of a creepy thing to say. I don't mean it like that. Yeah, I think she could be a good leader candidate. I think she's basically one of the other like Tenshin members that gets a little bit more exposure compared to like Kurumi and Kotochi. But that's, I think those are the kind of the choices, like kind of frontline members, I think. So you could maybe make a case for, like, I don't know, I could see also Tomocha taking a shot at 10th Gen as well. She also has she looks like a young version of Sayaka. So there's that. And then we have like some other like random like possibilities. I don't think these are possible. These will happen, but I mean, you have Sayaka could be a possibility. She's a hard worker and is mature, and is young enough. She can just turn 18, I believe. Yeah, she's 18, so she could be in the group for a while. As well as Tenna is also a possibility. She's like 19 or will be 19 soon. She's almost 20, but she's also a very hard worker and very mature. But yeah, generally, I think because 10th generation doesn't have enough exposure. I think not many 10th gen members. I also go with Kurumi, but she's really old. Unless she's planning to stay here for 10 years, which I don't see that happening. There's not a whole lot of other choices, but I think Wakata might be the #1 choice if they're smart and they want to. Assuming she's going to stick around that long. There's also her sister, but her sister's not quite the leadership, but she's also a few years younger, so she could stick around longer. That's who I think is going to be it for the captains here. So yeah, a lot of good choices. I think whoever takes over the captainship, I think they're going to have a lot of good other members to support them. So like I think Mighty, so she won't be a captain, but I think she'll be like, even though everyone said her, she's like the next generation second coming of Nagisa. And I think that's what her role would be. She'd be a kind of like the experienced senior member that can give guidance to the new captain. But you have Kato as like your ace, your Miru or Yuri equivalent, along with Sakatan as well. And then you have like your Wakapon, kind of like your Akane, your wise senior. So I think they have a lot of good members. Whoever's going to be taking over as captain, she'll have some good support network, similar to like how when Kojirin took over, she'll also had a pretty good support network. So it's very interesting. Again, we don't know. We're not gonna know anything for sure until by the time Kojirin graduates over in November. But we did announce there's gonna be some announcement at the Tenchi no Utopia with band live over on July 24th. And they'll have an announcement there with all the members being present for that. I'm not sure if that's going to be like a group team shuffle or some other kind of announcement. I think Shuffle seems likely, but they also might hold that off until the 15th anniversary as well, which will be like, October, November, perhaps. So yeah, but I think for sure we probably won't know the next captain until after Kojirin leaves in November. But yeah, if you like this video, you like this kind of like, non-event report, kind of more op-ed editorializing kind of opinion video, let me know in the comment section what you think. Also, if you agree with my choices or if you disagree with my choices, let me know who you think will be the next captain for NMB48. I like to see all the comments in the section, and I respond to them when I can. But yeah, so you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and just let me know what you think. And I'll see y'all again in the next video. Peace.